Michael, how would you fix the Giants?
Again, including his.
Yeah.
He's talking about everybody's job. His job, his barber's job, are on the line. Listen, I don't care if you're Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Archie Manning, or even NBA great Danny Manning.
Yeah.
You need to be able to be protected as a quarterback. We know Eli's not going to run. We started the season with great hopes and expectations. I watched that Sunday night game, the Sunday Night Hammer versus the Cowboys, and I knew we were in trouble. We can't. First of all, the quarterback, who's our guy, I don't care if he's not Eli of old or whatever, he's never been consistent. He's always been a wild card. But you got to protect the quarterback. And I knew that first game versus Dallas, we were in trouble.
Whose fault is that? Jerry Reese? He didn't shore it up. Right?
Yeah, he did. But at the end of the day, it's McAdoo's.
Okay.
Okay, he's the head coach. If you're going to start pointing fingers and everybody's job is on the line, it's your fault. And then Paul Perkins and Orleans Darkwa, again, we brought in B. Marshall. We have the best football player in the league, Odell. We have a young Sterling Sharpe. We have tight end Ingram. We have guys that
Sterling
Shepard. What did I say?
Wish you had
Sterling
Sharpe.
Sharpe.
Sorry. Yes. Man, that was
Eli be on
so much
something.
better than you. So much better than you. But like, I mean, he was so much better than you.
You think?
Oh, man.
He was.
Okay, but let's
You
stay
got
focused. But where we are now is the fact that we have guys suspended. Our best defensive player suspended. There's something not right. I mean, people want to win, and I get the frustration, but there's something not right in the Giants thing. And McAdoo as a coach, like, yo, you got to have some sort of like vocal communication, even the way you speak to the media. Like if you speak to the media the same way you're speaking to the players, there's a disconnect. So at the end of the day, Eli's not going anywhere. What are we going to do? Cart out Geno Smith? Eli's not worried about Geno Smith taking his job. The Giants are in trouble, but I think McAdoo his job isn't sealed at all.
I'm getting rid of everybody. Jerry Reese has run his course. 2 years of Ben McAdoo, I already know. He was the wrong guy for the job, to begin with.
Yep.
Because they're looking at, Eli played so well. You just, and we talked about this earlier, Michael, you can't just look at a guy and say, well, he works well with the quarterback or he works well with the offense. Well, can he coach a team? And Skip, you mentioned earlier this was a cornerstone franchise. Right now, they're a tombstone franchise.
That's well said.
Nobody wants to see this team.
Nobody wants to see
And
it.
here's the thing. This is what you got to ask yourself about Eli Manning. Because Eli Manning, if you look at his Super Bowl, those playoffs, he's 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. All-time great. Historically, transcendent great. But even the year he went to the first Super Bowl, Skip, he was 23 touchdowns, 20 interceptions.
That's him.
So Eli's not going to get any better than what he's already been because he has a 2-year window, which he's all-time great. But those other years, Skip, he's been an average quarterback. Even the second year that he went to the Super Bowl, he was 29-16. I mean, 29 touchdowns, that's good. But so 16 interceptions mean you're averaging a turnover a game. That's not good. And so do you believe Eli has another Super Bowl run in him?
No.
If you don't believe that, so what are we doing here?
You got to go in a new direction. I'm sorry to break this news to you, but Eli Manning is hitting the wall far before the quarterback he beat twice in Super Bowls is hitting the wall at age 40.
Absolutely.
He's hitting the wall.
Of course, we can't compare the two as far as consistent quarterbacks, but you got to protect. Tom Brady wouldn't be able to work in that backfield with that offensive line of the Giants.
Sometimes
nobody
I wonder.
would. Nobody would.
Brady hadn't been very protected this year either, but he figures it out.
We're talking about Apple. I mean, you can't compare the two except for in the Super Bowl.
Except in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, that was twice that happened. 2 times.
And in your book, you relish that.
Oh,
That's like the greatest thing you got in your whole life. Your
Well, why
sports
not?
life.
I mean, no, because it's great. Right? They won a lot of Super Bowls, but they lost 2.
I know, to that same guy.
That same guy.
Impossible.
And his face
no,
never
seriously.
moved.
That's the most impossible thing that's ever happened in the history of sports.
Yes.
In the history
Not
of
once.
sports. Eli Manning beat Tom Brady in 2 Super Bowls.
Gorgeous.
2 Super Bowls.
Joe Namath would have had to beat the Colts and Johnny Unitas.
In 2 Super Bowls.
It was beautiful. Remember when Giselle freaked out about the whole thing and made the whole thing about her?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
They're a great team. They're fantastic. Shout out to Julian Edelman. I want him back. They're a great team, but they just weren't that great those 2 games.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from their greatness.
But I thought Hugh Jackson was going to take your job, and so did everybody involved in this. And all of a sudden, at the last second, he said, I'm going to Cleveland because I like the management structure of Sashi Brown and Paul DePaul. You do? You like the Browns? Where did that get you? So he could have been your coach. He's a really good football coach, and he would have worked and clicked with the Giants. Instead, you elevate Ben Muchado, and he's what Bill Parcells used to call a JAG, just another guy. That's who he is.
But we could use a Bill Parcells. Now, but the thing more surprising than, and listen, the injury stunk. Brandon Marshall should not retire. Brandon Marshall should come back.
He did retire. He just didn't tell you.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
You ain't watch? Did you watch
What?
all those drop passes?
We dropped 2 passes. He made the great catch.
Per game.
Listen, Brandon Marshall should not retire. Brandon Marshall should not retire, and he should come back next year. That's not his fault.
He sounds like he's a friend of yours.
I like Brandon Marshall. I've always liked Brandon Marshall, and that wasn't fair this year. That stunk.
Okay.
He's a friend of mine, but I do like Brandon Marshall. But before he was a friend of mine, I was a fan of his. But the thing that was the most disappointing, the defense. At least if the offense falls apart, we could get some grit and some personality and some character off the defense. Right now, we're 30th.
They quit.
Well, the good news
Defensive guy gets
is
suspended.
you guys play San Francisco on Sunday.
They're gonna beat y'all.
That'll be an exciting
They
game.
ain't gonna beat the New York
They
Giants.
get that elusive first win, those 49ers.
That ain't happening versus the Giants.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.